In today's episode, we go really deep. Welcome back to Unplugged and Unstoppable. I'm your host, Robin Campbell, and today you're about to meet a woman whose story embodies courage, consciousness, and soul mission on a whole other level. My guest is Alexandria Kaye, though you'll quickly get to know her as Alex. She's a 3-time founder, creator of perception shifting experiences, a psychedelic guide, a retreat producer, sound therapist, podcast host, sovereignty educator, strategic consultant, and the truth agent. It's a mouthful, I know, but trust me, she really is all of it. In this conversation, Alex lets us into a remarkable 7-year journey from feeling less than, disconnected, and boxed in by corporate life to becoming the founder of the Ascending Tribe, a movement that's already changed thousands of lives. We talk about the moment in meditation where the mission came through her, not from her, and how she followed the call to find the others. You'll hear about her inner battle she fought for years against self-doubt and unworthiness, the divinely timed synchronicities that confirmed her path, the suffering that shaped her, including a near sabotage of her biggest event to date, the truth about sovereign living, releasing fear and breaking the spell of the system, and the courage it takes to build heart-led communities in a world designed to suppress them. And now she's become completely different to the woman she was 7 years ago. This is one of the most raw and inspiring conversations we've had on the show. So if you've ever felt the pull to step into your purpose, but questioned your worth, your direction, or your potential, then Alex's story will light a fire under you. So take a deep breath, because you're about to meet a woman who's become totally unplugged and truly unstoppable.
So welcome to the podcast, Alexandria Kaye, and it's so good to meet you, Alex. Can we call you Alex or is it Alexandria?
Oh yeah, call me Alex. Yeah, everyone calls me Alex usually.
Good stuff. Now recently, Alex, I've been following you, and on your LinkedIn profile, it says 3 times founder, creating perception shifting experiences, and that's not all I do. Psychedelic guide, strategic consultant, retreat producer, sound therapist, podcast host, sovereign educator, truth agent, and singer. That is quite a mouthful. That is an amazing intro to who you are. So you posted something on LinkedIn the other day. Tell us about your businesses today, and then we'll unpack that post on LinkedIn, which I think is perfect for this podcast.
Yeah, just going back to the LinkedIn thing as well. Oh, firstly, I have to say thank you for having me on as well, because
You're most welcome.
So much gratitude. I think I was telling you earlier, I'm usually the person interviewing, so it's very different being interviewed. But the LinkedIn thing, like when you're trying to do LinkedIn and you're just trying to stand out a little bit, but it's like, do I go with the labels? I don't really believe in labels, but I have to try and describe who I am and what I do. There's so many things I do, and like we're such multifaceted beings. It's like really hard to we have to fit ourselves into a box to try and expose everything that we do. But anyway, so that was just a little explanation. It wasn't me trying to, I do it. Anyway, I'm going to go off on a tangent in a minute. So let me just stick to your original question. The post. Yeah.
So the post and the 3 businesses, or the 3 things that you currently do today, and then we're going to contrast where you've come from. So give us an idea of what is it you do today, which kind of businesses, brands, groups that you've created, and what are you offering today?
So one of the businesses I run with my partner, and it has nothing to do with anything that we're going to be talking about here. Yeah. It's something that I kind of just fell into. I didn't think I was going to run this business with him, but it's basically a car related business. And so that's been going for about 6 years. So I've sort of built the brand up quite a bit. But to give you a background of why I fell into that, I've always had a bit of an addiction to starting businesses.
Okay.
And I'm very creative, so I get loads of ideas, and I love creating brands, and I love experimenting with growing and expanding brands as well. But that business that I do with my partner is one of the longer term ones that I've done. So I've had many other businesses before that haven't really lasted very long, because they were just learning. It was just a learning ground for me. But my 2 babies are, Ascending Tribe is my baby. Ascending Tribe is my baby. That's the one I've been doing for 7 years. Although I don't really like calling it a business. It has evolved more into a social enterprise. It started more as a community, a group, I guess I started Ascending Tribe because I wanted something out there that I wish I had had during my, some people would say awakening. I call it a self-remembrance path, you know, because that was a really tough time for me. And then in 2020, I think it was 2021, again, I did not mean to create another business, but it just started to happen that within people within the conscious community were coming to me for sort of advice and guidance around, how do I start a business, Alex? I don't know how to start a business. Like, where do I need to start? Can I just pay you and you can do it? So then I created Fireflow Collective, which again started more as like a virtual assistant business, like a support business, but that's now evolved into like a business consultancy. And now this year it's evolved into like a speaker agency. So supporting speakers who are speaking, sharing truth, conscious creatives, heart-led leaders are the people that I want to be working with. Like, I am so passionate about supporting heart-led leaders because for me, the mission behind Fireflow Collective, you think about how much power these evil corporations have. And I think we know really what's happening. Like, this is the space where we can actually talk about this, but so much power these corporations have. Imagine if the money and the power was transferred to heart-led leaders, how different the reality would be, how different our world would actually look. And so I think it's really important, more so than ever now, to be supporting heart-led leaders. So that's what I do with Fireflow. So yeah, Ascending Tribe is a social enterprise, and those are the three businesses that I do.
Okay. So your LinkedIn post really inspired me because it seemed to be a milestone moment for you, because I'd seen you working so hard these last 3 months, getting events, some of them in person, some of them online, some of them are like, oh my God, we're going to talk about a cancellation that's almost happening. Someone's sabotaging your event. We'll cover that in a minute. Drama and all that stuff. I'd seen you work your way through it, and I so commend you that you got it done. And I can see from the post that you put on social media how successful they've been. But talk us through that post, because you said 7 years ago you had nothing but a vision. So what was that moment that told you Ascending Tribe had to exist?
Yeah, so if I just go back to that moment in 2018, I was meditating and I really kept getting this feeling like, for me, if I just go back to 2011, that was when my path of self-remembrance began. That's when I started really digging into things. I had met someone who, for the first time ever, I felt very understood, very seen, when most of my life I felt very alienated through my life. So together we were like digging and researching, and my spirit and my gut was like, I knew it. I knew something. I knew something was not right in this world. I knew there was an imbalance. I was always curious. I was always asking questions growing up. And so for me, it was like, from 2011 to 2018, I was just like, there must be other people out there like me. And I guess it was a mission of find the others. And it kind of came through, like I say, it came through me. It didn't come from me. I know for a fact, I'm going to mention God, but God is my understanding, like God, as I understand God, some people would say divine intelligence, source, creator. I mean, all of that. Yeah. So
awesome.
This is the mission for me, Ascending Tribe. Okay, it's a brand, but the mission behind that is a divine mission. It is a mission that we're all doing collectively for God. And that's just one piece of the puzzle in a collective sort of overview that we're all doing together, right? So that for me came through. It was just like, I have to find the others, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go through your beliefs. So in that post, you also said that you had no idea of your own potential. So what belief did you have back then that you now see is completely false?
Yeah, like I have always felt less than. I didn't think I was capable of anything. I didn't feel like I had, I did know I had a purpose. I just didn't know what it was. I knew I had a purpose, but it was more like I didn't know that I had the capability to achieve as much as I have, especially this year. Like, amazing. And so for me, I always say the business journey, or if you start your own thing, if you don't want to call it business, let's say, but starting your own journey, like around creating freedom something in a sense where you're creating your own money. Let's just call it business. Yeah. Business is the biggest self-development journey anyone can ever take. It pushes your limits in a way that nothing else ever will. You have, and it trains you and you expand so rapidly. Like I was having to, throughout the years, I'm like, learning about people management. I'm learning about, problem solving. I'm learning about, okay, I've got to I don't have a lot of funds. Everything I do is self-funded. I don't have any external investors or anything like that. So for me, it's all about learning how to negotiate. I've got limited resources, limited funds. How can I make the best experience with limited resources and get people's attention around how powerful and unique the experiences are that I'm creating here. So, for me, it's I didn't realize I had that in me. I didn't realize I had all this.
That's amazing.
All this amazing capability. Can I be more specific? I don't know. Is that too vague?
No, that's fine, because a lot of people see themselves stuck in a corporate job or a job of some description, and they know they've got brains, they've got aptitude, they've got desire, but they wouldn't know where to go, and they don't know what steps to take them out of that system and into something more self-determining, if that makes sense. Give us an idea of what you were doing before you went into the business with your partner on it's car wrapping, isn't it? Custom cars?
It's auto styling. So it's anything to do with repairs and the aesthetics of the vehicle, basically. It's not anything mechanical. We don't do anything mechanical. It's literally just the visual and the looks.
Nice. Yeah, it's a very visual business, so lends itself well to
restoring and preserving vehicles. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So give us an idea, what were you doing before then, and how did you make this? How do you feel you made this transition from a job into doing your own thing? Can you give us an idea of the steps and the kind of mindset shifts that you had to take?
Yeah. So I was in the corporate world for 16 years before this. Okay. I was actually an executive assistant for various different industries, but mainly for the last 8 years of being in the corporate world, it was mainly tech industries, because before that I couldn't really keep a job. So I was temping quite a lot. And what I noticed is I really can't hold down a job in the financial industry, in the legal industries.
Okay.
And
the left brain ones.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I fit in tech. I fit into tech industries because it's way more laid back. It's way more creative. They give you a lot more freedom. And I was like, cool, I fit in there. So those jobs were the longest jobs I really ever stayed, but they were no more than 2.5 years. I got bored really, really quickly. I got bored really quickly. And I was like, when I first started, I was learning loads, especially at the tech companies. I loved it. I was learning so much, and especially about the operations of a business, what's needed to run large corporations. I was dealing with many different types of departments. I was dealing with high level, C-suite level directors. Amazing. And I found it fascinating. I was learning and absorbing as much as I could from them. But previous to that, I was really struggling to stay in my job, basically. I either left or I kept getting fired. Yeah, I just didn't fit in, I'm a free spirit, and, but I didn't understand because I was very, very conditioned. But I always knew, and I don't know why, because I even remember having this thought from when I was 6, 7 years old. I always knew I was going to have a business. I didn't know I was going to have multiple businesses, but I knew and thought I'm definitely going to have my own business, because my dad had his own business. He was a graphic designer and he ran his own graphic design business. It didn't do massively well when we got into our teen. When I got, me and my brother, we got into our teens. But I guess I grew up with, maybe it was my dad's influence, and he's very creative as well. I do have a lot of influence from my dad as well. But so I just always had that knowing, but I was like, what's it going to be? And I just had so much ambition, and I had so much drive and fire, and I was like, I didn't know where to put it. And I was just like, I know I'm not meant to be working for someone. I'm meant to be, I've come here for a purpose, or and I always just had this internal knowing. And there's other people that I speak to, especially clients that I work with on the Fireflow Collective side, they also have this same feeling as well. So what I would actually say to people who are watching this is follow that feeling. Okay. And for me, what I've noticed is going back, because I didn't know what I was meant to do, but because I started really working on myself, I started working with plant medicines in 2014. And I'm not saying everyone here needs to work with plant medicines. I'm just saying that was my experience. And I was always seeking the truth, seeking a connection with myself, seeking to know myself, seeking a connection with something bigger than myself, wanting to really know why we're here. I was constantly seeking. And I think that really helped propel my journey into my purpose and my soul mission. But the one bit of advice and suggestion that I always give people who are struggling to find their purpose is go back to what you were doing when you were younger. because so much of what I was doing when I was younger, there was so many signs. Like when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, it makes so much sense why I'm doing everything I'm doing, even the car thing. Even I'm not really a materialistic person by any means. Like I'm just really not a materialistic person. I don't know. If you ask people around me, like I'm just not attached to money in any kind of way.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that we need money to live in the world, like especially this current system. But like just even little things like when I was growing up, I didn't have posters of singers or boy bands on my wall or like, whatever you would have on the wall. I had loads of car pictures on my wall, like Lamborghinis, modified cars. Like I was really into like the racer cars, like, and that kind of thing. And that was me growing up. But I never thought I would like go into business in it. So it's just like little things like that. And then like I used to play around with like a dictaphone when I was younger and pretend that I was on a radio. And now I've got like a podcast. Like it's just like little things like that. When you look back at your childhood, this is more for like people that are feeling like a little bit lost. Like just go back to your childhood and sit with, oh my God, what were the things that there will be signs there basically. But yeah, the jump from leaving corporate to then relying solely on your own business, it's a scary one. It's really scary. I have to be very honest and say that my experience with plant medicine really helped me to like push through that fear.
Okay.
I realized that not everyone needs that, you know what I mean? But that was my experience.
Give us an idea of some of the irrational or self-limiting things holding you back. Did you have any beliefs at the time that you think,
oh my gosh, I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. Who am I? How can I make a difference? How can I change anyone's life? Just me as one person, yeah, I think it's just, again, it's that old, like being not good enough and not feeling worthy enough and not valuing or seeing your own skills and talents and potentials. In
give us an idea. Did you have any nudges from synchronicities or people encouraging you right from the get-go? Or did you have to battle through 6 months solo pedaling like mad?
Oh my God. Do you mean like when I first started? Like,
yeah. So what was it that kept you going, I guess? What was the fire that kept you going no matter what? And did you get any help? Did someone say, you're doing a great job, come and help me here? Or can you give us
it's only been the last couple of years that people have been like, I want to help you. So I've got one of my close friends now. He came on board to Ascending Tribe at the beginning of this year. And I'm convinced he is the energy that has propelled Ascending Tribe because it's just doubled in size within this year. Like way more people know about Ascending Tribe and what we're doing since he joined. I appreciate he's got like a larger platform, but also just going back to your original question of the synchronicities, especially in the beginning, for me, it was like people always used to say things like, how do you find these people, Alex? Like, how do you find these really fascinating, interesting people to like interview on a podcast and host for workshops? And how do you find all these people that are like coming into the community? It was like, what I noticed was build it and they will come is the saying, I guess, right? And it was very magnetic. So I was like, okay, maybe this is what, I don't know. It was, and it also like an internal pull, like, I've tried to pause Ascending Tribe so many times because where like the car business was making the most money and Ascending Tribe was making no money, I was like, oh my God, I have to focus on the one that's making money because now I have to keep a roof over my head and I have to keep food on the table.
Of course.
And so I found it very difficult, like trying to do both. And so I was trying to pause Ascending Tribe. And every time I paused Ascending Tribe, another big opportunity would come in that I just couldn't say no to. And I was like, I can't pause it. I just can't do it. And it's like a pull from my stomach. I can't explain it. That's my baby. Ascending Tribe is my baby. Ascending Tribe, that is my soul mission.
I'm getting shivers because that is just, you're getting a massive sign there. Don't you dare stop.
Yeah.
How dare you? Don't you dare. So something else you put in your post, you said, in the moments of suffering is where personal expansion happens. So what was the most transformative moment, I guess, of suffering, if I'm going to link it to this, on this journey? And what did it unlock?
Oh my God, there's been so much because I cannot tell you the amount of times I have wanted to completely close Ascending Tribe. And there's been so many times where I've literally looked up to the sky and the stars and asked God, why did you give me this mission? It's too big for me. It feels so big to hold. There's so much pressure alongside okay, Fireflow I can put down a little bit, like whenever I can, you know, like I will take clients on as and when I can. But with the business that I'm doing with my partner, like the car business, it's don't feel like I can always step away and put that down as much as I like. And feeling like you're being pulled in different directions is so challenging. And where Ascending Tribe has grown, like I get hundreds of messages and emails every single day. And I don't have an assistant. Like a lot of people are telling me like, oh, you should get an assistant now. And I have tried in the past, but like I am a little bit of a control freak. I'm not going to lie. It's really hard for me to like let go because I have certain standards and I have a certain vision. And I just kind of feel like if it's not done in a certain way, it kind of just feels like a bit of a waste of time to go back and then me having to redo it. So, like, there is someone that I'm potentially bringing on at the moment. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent.
I get it.
No, I've forgotten
So we're talking about suffering. We're talking about that kind of almost dark night of the soul. And you're explaining how you've nearly thrown it in a couple of times. But because I remember the event cancellation. That must have been
I was going to mention that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
I
do
get
that.
very low as well, like around
Okay.
the fact that I work so hard. That's also another thing. Like it makes me often question, have I built a prison around me? Like,
Yes.
so then I go into like an uncomfortable state, let's just say, and then I'll allow myself to fall into that state. And that's where like all the knowledge and the wisdom and the solution comes, is in the suffering, is in the pain. That's where I find the solution comes when I allow myself to drop in that space and I'm not resisting it, because I will at first. I always try and resist that drop in. But yes, the event this year was the biggest achievement I've ever experienced. It was one of the biggest events that I've ever, actually the biggest event I've ever held, with 7 quite high profile speakers. Usually I only hold one speaker at a time. I've never done like multiple speakers, and it was for hundreds of people in London. So it was, the expectation is a lot higher. The pressure is a lot higher to deliver. And then 3 weeks before the event, I get an email from the original venue that I had booked, which I had arranged this event in March this year. And this event it took place on the 18th of October. So at the end of September, the original venue have contacted me saying, we have to cancel your booking because we have had notifications from the general public. We've had emails from the general public saying that they will protest outside our venue if this event goes ahead. And I'm like, what kind of people are going to be protesting for this type of event? Like it's a loving event. It's a heart-centered event. Okay, we're talking about something that may come across as quite controversial, but we're helping a lot of people. I was like, who is going to be protesting about this? So anyway, they cancelled the event and I was like, oh my gosh, 3 weeks before, what do I do?
Stressful.
Then the next day I receive a really strange email from an anonymous person. He goes by the name of Barnaby. I don't know who this person is, never seen him. He said, I know who's behind the attack of your event. In the email, he's saying, I know who's behind shutting your event down. I've got proof. Here's the proof. Sends me all of this proof. It then turns out it's this guy that has a YouTube channel that has 160,000 followers. I don't know if people want to go and have a look. It's called Mind of Steel. I actually don't mind sharing it because it's cool. Like whatever, you can go and have a look if you want. Then we started doing research on him, and me and my team were like digging into, who is this guy? Why is he trying to take us down? And he wasn't actually targeting me or Ascending Tribe. He was actually targeting a couple of our speakers.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Which is why it happened. So once we did some research, we found out that he gets paid £250,000 a year to take down events like this, to tarnish and slander events like this. And he does so on his platform. He shares a lot of content and he makes professional looking content, So then we started digging into company's house around who's funding the money and what the business is that he's hiding behind. So there's a business that he hides behind, or I don't know. It's almost like he's a puppet and there's someone a lot higher up within the establishment that is funding this. It's very clear once you do the research that it's being funded.
Brigade, probably 77th Brigade, probably.
How did you know?
That's pretty obvious.
Yeah, he is. He is.
It's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Yes. So this is what we found.
I've been party to similar things with channels getting terminated and journalists splashing my face all over the press and all of that sort of stuff. So, right. So you've you got the event back on. It obviously went really well.
Yes.
So,
but that was the suffering. You were asking about the suffering. That
yeah,
was the hardest 3 weeks I've ever had in my entire life.
I
Like,
can imagine.
I lost a whole week just trying to find a new venue. It took me all week. I was emailing hundreds of venues, and because of our limited resource and funds, you know, especially in London,
Yeah.
it was very, very hard to find. But then we did. God stepped in, you know, like, here's the venue within your budget. Okay, it's not quite central London, but it's still in London. And yeah, it went ahead, and it was just incredible. Like, the energy in the room, the fact that we had been tried, like, you know, the fact they tried to shut us down and we still were there making it go ahead. And just, do you know, for me, like, more than anything, it's the connecting people at the
100%.
live events, seeing people create bonds and like recognize each other as soul family, and it's so beautiful.
It is
That's
wonderful
my biggest
thing.
achievement.
I was going to say, you said in your LinkedIn post, this is one of the proudest moments of my life. Would that be the reason? Or could you summarize what makes you proud about it? And Ascending Tribe
This
itself?
whole year, if I'm honest with you, my focus has really shifted and pivoted onto Ascending Tribe, which I think is also a reason why it's propelled so much this year, as well as Indigo coming on as well. Indigo is my friend. He's the one that come on board. But it's just the fact that I was looking back. So obviously I've posted that post on LinkedIn this week, and I just closed our last live event on Sunday. I'm still going through the process of hosting an online course which finishes in December, and then that's it. I'm going to have a month off. But yes, I'm looking back over the year, and because we've been holding medicine retreats as well and really shifting people's lives, and watching it happen and witnessing it and creating deep connections with these people that are attending our events, and they become more than just attendees. They become family. They become part of the tribe, literally, which is what we want. We want everyone to be thriving from the tribe. And it's just being able to look back and go, my God, we've touched so many people's lives. We've helped to shift perspectives. We've helped people step into their courage. We've helped people learn things they didn't know before, you know, and it's just like impacting people's lives in that way. And I'm never someone like, this is what I'm talking about. 7 years ago, I would never be able to say, oh, I'm proud of myself, or I've done something that I'm proud of. And like, in a way, when I was posting that post as well, like when I pressed post, I was a little bit like, oh my God, I hope this doesn't come across like too egotistical, because I never blow my own trumpet ever.
Not
Like,
at all. You're very genuine, and that's why I was kind of, even before I knew you'd got going with Indigo's help, I could see your mission from a distance and so respected what you were building. And you said in this post, I'm not the same woman I was 7 years ago. Can you give us an insight? What does that mean?
oh my God, that actually made me emotional. You reading that? Oh my gosh, I'm feeling very emotional this week. So, yeah, just, I see who I am. I see what I'm capable of. I so believe in my abilities and my skills and my gifts. I know what I'm here for. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. And of course that does change, you know, like life changes, life does throw curveballs. And I'm sure that next year I'm going to have moments where I feel lost again. Like, I'm not saying I've like resolved everything, but in this moment, I can proudly say that I am someone who really believes in myself, and I'm so much more of a confident person putting myself out there. I know that I'm going to carry on building something bigger, and it's only growing from here on out now. Whereas like 7 years ago, I was like a shy, timid, like I would be shaking. I would be actually like this, shaking, if this was you and I 7 years ago, you know. And I just am able to see my elevation. I'm able to see my own expansion. I'm able to see like how 7 years ago my mind was in a box, and now I am able to think outside of the box, and my consciousness is so expanded that I'm able to see from different perspectives. I'm able to see everything that's possible. Whereas 7 years ago, I thought, oh, that's never going to be possible. Like, I had such limiting beliefs of what was possible. And
you find yourself needing to crowd those voices out still? Do you have moments where you got to go, right, I'm taking control of this thought, or anything like that still?
But yeah, definitely. Still, like, for me, especially where I've put all of the businesses before my health, if I'm honest with you. So over the last couple of years, my confidence has been very, very challenged, especially being on camera. It was only like the last 6 months I started to appear on camera again. I put so much weight on, and that's affected my confidence. And then I found out that I've got polycystic ovary syndrome, which I know is like curable, healable. I need to fix it. It's all diet based. I get it. I'm not moving enough because I'm always at the laptop. Like it's sort of like a self-inflicted syndrome, if you like. And I'm working on healing that. So yeah, that's affected my hormones massively. So when I go into sort of like my autumn time, which is, I don't know how much you know. Sorry, this is not like I'm going into like the women's cycle now, Robin. Am I allowed to go there? But, like when I dip into like my autumn, which is like just before my period comes, I really notice my hormones drop, and I happens every single month, and I'm I still forget sometimes. I will think I'm a loser still. I can still hear the voice in my head that says, "You're a loser, you can't do nothing, like, oh my God, you're not worth anything." Yeah, I still have that, and it's always around that time. So I have to be so mindful around like, what am I doing? Am I overcommitting during that time? And it's challenging because running businesses is like, you never get to switch off. And I'm sure you understand that. And being a woman running businesses is like, I'm not trying to make it like a separate thing of like, it's different for men, but of course, like men's cycles are 24-hour cycles. So your hormones will like replace themselves every 24 hours. Mine do it every 28 to 30 days, So it's like, I have to sort of be mindful of like, okay, what is my schedule like when I'm due on, kind of thing. So yes is the answer. I still get those moments. I still get those the monkey mind, if you like.
Yeah, of course. So what does Alex do to switch off, if anything? And how do you balance all this? Is it enough to just be busy on things that you love and you don't need a hobby or anything to relax? How does Alex switch off?
That's such a good question, because that's something that I've really struggled with this year. It's a challenge that I'm still working on, is finding the balance. Especially this half of the year post the seminar in October, where I've taken my foot off the gas with the car business. It's kind of like suffering a little bit. So like now I'm having to ramp that side up again. And I'm just working really long hours. I get addicted to it. I'm quite a workaholic. But one thing that I have started to do is chant. I've started chanting every time because I get very overwhelmed, and then I get really anxious, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got so much to do and not enough time, and I get really overwhelmed in my head, and I'm like, right, I need to go back to my practices, ground myself. But chanting has been the thing that has really saved me this half of the year.
In your LinkedIn profile, you got sound therapist and singer. So tell us about the sound therapy. What does that mean?
Yes, so I have been a sound therapist since 2019, and I only do it once a month. Like, it's a group session that I hold once a month, and it's mainly just local to where I am at the moment, because obviously I've got so many other things going on. But it's a passion of mine. I used to sing when I was younger. I used to perform on stage, and something happened in my late teens, and I then stopped singing. But then plant medicine really helped to heal that, and I came back to singing, and I sing in my sound therapy sessions.
Yeah, that's lovely.
But yeah, so I hold group sessions, and it's just about allowing and holding space for people to give time to themselves, to slow down and to explore themselves in a way where maybe they don't give that back to themselves. Like I have to be very aware of, okay, I need to give myself space. But most people on a day-to-day basis won't do that. I don't have kids, so my businesses are my kids, I guess. But a lot of people, they've got jobs, they've got kids, they're looking after family. Some of them have health problems. It's loads of things are going on in loads of people's lives, and it just allows them to like come in, give themselves space, and give time back to themselves.
Awesome. And what is sound therapy? I noticed you have some. Is it you describe it, because I'm going to misdescribe it.
I mean, for me, sound therapy it's basically like frequency healing.
Okay.
It recalibrates the cells within our body. Like when we're stressed or when we've got trauma, it just helps to bring stuff up and release it and realign ourselves. It helps with the parasympathetic nervous system as well, just to bring that back into balance, bring you back into like the rest and digest state, which is, a lot of the time, daily life is very stressful, especially living in the UK at the moment. It's music is very healing. When we look at, the universe is made up of frequency. Everything is a frequency. So it's just about bringing healing in that sense. But I don't like to say that I'm a healer, because I'm not. I can only heal myself, and other
Sure.
people can only heal themselves. So it's a therapy
Love it. And
to me.
what instrument is it? Is it bells, or is it like,
Oh,
how
so
do
I
you?
use a variety of
Okay.
different instruments. So I've got crystal singing bowls, I've got shamanic drums, I've got a huge beautiful gong, I use my voice, I use rattles, I use wah wah bars, ushi chimes. Yeah, I've got so many instruments. So many instruments, and I'm still collecting things on my list, and my partner's just like, can we not get any more instruments, please? Because it's just taking up space.
Do they go in the garage and he knocks them?
No, no, we've got, I do have like a small little room here where they
Do
all
they?
sort of like stay, and I bring them out when needed, and I bring them to retreat as well. But yeah, so my instruments are tuned to 432 hertz as well,
Awesome.
because that is the most healing frequency for humans.
That's a whole study in itself, but the
I feel
those
like I don't describe sound. Sorry to interrupt. I just feel like I don't describe sound therapy very well. I've read a lot of like scientific books, and I've actually done a lot of courses just to just to understand the theory, but I'm not very good at articulating the best way. Like there is a science behind it, like it's quantum physics. Like one of the best books. I don't know if I've got it up here actually on my bookshelf. If I can find it, I'll send it. But yeah, it's one of the best books that goes behind all the science around it and what it actually does
fantastic.
to the body. Like when we think about how we are all water as well, like we're like 70-80% water based. You can look at the study of cymatics, for example, what music and frequency does to water, and I think they use sand as well
That's right.
can't even.
They put
Yeah,
frequency underneath a sand bed, and
yeah,
it
yeah,
creates
yeah.
a beautiful pattern, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. And so that's exactly what sound therapy is doing to our bodies on a micro level.
That's amazing. And I think it's Emoto, isn't it? Japanese guy who did that
Yeah.
whole put crystals in water. And was it water? And you speak harmful thoughts to one and loving thoughts to another, and the crystals that form overnight are very different.
Yeah,
Ugly
yeah, yeah.
over
You
here
can
and
see
beautiful over here. Yeah.
the negative ones are very distorted looking, whereas the positive affirmations that he speaks are very symmetrical and very beautiful
They're like
patterns.
snowflakes,
Yeah.
aren't they? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's move the subject onto retreats and plant-based medicine. What is a good blueprint or structure for running a retreat? What does a good retreat look like to you?
I think it varies because there's many different ways to hold retreats. And I think especially the structure of it, some people might want to do 5 nights or 2 nights, but for us, we do one night at the moment
Okay.
because for us, we just think and we just feel that that's the best process for us. So for us, we do a lot of different workshops that encompass somatic, grounding, breath work tools, that kind of thing beforehand, before working into the medicine. We hold a lot of support beforehand as well. We've got a diet protocol, and then we offer a lot of support post retreat as well. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, for us,
So it's
sorry.
one day. So it's one day, and the whole thing happens during that one day. And
So it's two
2
days and
days.
one night.
Okay, got it.
So it's an overnight.
Brilliant. And I guess that's in the UK, is it? Secret
Yes.
location.
Secret
Fantastic.
location in the UK, but beautiful, like absolutely beautiful land.
Okay.
The space that we've got, it was built by a guy that owns a lot of land that specifically built it for healing retreats and plant medicine retreats. So it's got plenty of land, plenty of nature, plenty of comfort, plenty of warmth. Because I think, well, when you're in these spaces, you need to feel safe is
Then
the priority, to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to feel warm, because you're going into such a vulnerable state. So it's really important to be in a safe space.
So we've listened to some of the multi talents you have, Alex, and this podcast, Unplugged and Unstoppable, is about kind of life transformation stories. And therefore, I've got to ask you about the future now. What what do you see for Ascending Tribe and your ventures going forwards in the next 3 years? What would you like to see?
That is such a good question. So for the next 3 years, I would still be loving to do the live events. I'd love to do like more of a UK tour. as well, sort of, because a lot of my events are they're within London or around London. Like I want to go more, like we get asked all the time, are you going to come up to Glasgow? Are you going to come up to Birmingham? You know, so I'd love to do more of a UK tour. I would love to have more time to do the podcast as well and do it properly and more professionally as well. Like I really would love like a podcast studio or like a mobile podcast like van or something. Like I've heard those are popping up now. And for me, like the mission is about uniting conscious minds is the slogan, if you like, for Ascending Tribe, because it's all about uniting conscious minds. But for me, it's like I want us to be co-creating a new reality together.
100%.
And I think for me, it's just about it's not so much important to me to get the brand of Ascending Tribe out there. It's more important that the information that we deliver, we want that to get out there. You know, I think, you know, that we talk a lot about sovereignty and what that means. And we help a lot of people to release the layers of conditioned fear that a lot of us have. You know, I've even still got parts of my programming that are conditioned and still have, I've released a lot of layers, but I still have a lot more layers to work through, you know, so we help a lot of people with that. And I think to move forward, to co-create something that is going to be more utopian for everyone to experience rather than this horrible sort of experience. I think a lot of people feel like, especially in the UK, that we're going more towards a dystopian timeline. What I feel is that for us, the first step is always to release the layers of fear. And to do that, we have to work on ourselves. To do that, we have to learn who we are. We have to understand our programs. Why do we think the way we do? Why do we react the way we do? Where do these programs come from? Really fully understand ourselves. And then we need to learn that the system is not real, that we have a spell cast over us. And then when you see through the illusion, the layers of fears drop away. And that's what allows people to step more into the courage and the confidence to live their life in the way that they want to be living their life, you know, and to be more dropping into the heart space is very important, because we can't have people running around like, okay, there's loads of people, as you know, I'm sure, in the truth community that are very disconnected from the heart. They know a lot of the external stuff that's going on, but you know, if you're running around in ego still and you don't have a lot of self-awareness and you're not able to drop into compassion into your heart, then we still need to be governed in a sense. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise people are just going to still going around hurting each other because they're so disconnected from the heart. There's a lack of empathy. It's a long-winded answer, Robin, sorry, but basically this is what I see going forward. Is like, I would love to see more people getting involved and learning and growing and expanding and stepping more into their own wisdom. Like, you know, with Ascending Tribe, we don't push any ideologies onto people. We do not tell you what to think, like, or how to be. We guide you into like listening to your inner compass again, because a lot of us have been disconnected. So it's about following yourself. We want everyone to be following their own self. We want everyone to have their own relationship with God as they understand it, not as I understand it, or not as Indigo understands it. You know, like Indigo, for example, has got a very different connection with God the way that I have, and I'm sure you do as well, Robin. And that's how it's meant to be. We're meant to be experiencing our unique experience. That's why we've come here, to have individual experiences so that we can experience that. Otherwise, if we were like meant to be all believing all one thing, then we would have come here as a collective of already connected beings that believe in one thing, that are moving around. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, maybe
of course.
I'm not
Of
relating
course.
properly,
And
but
it's perfectly put. And I'm trying to think now about values, because you've talked about your soul mission and how, you know, you can keep yourself busy with these things and they're definitely lighting you up. We can see that a mile off. So if I was to ask you what your top 3 values are, would you be able to name a few?
freedom is always my top one.
Okay.
Everything I do is fueled by freedom. Innovation, because I feel like what we're creating is a sense of, yes, going back to the essence of, but we are also creating a reality that has never been created before. And we're co-creating that together. So I just feel like it needs to be quite innovative. And maybe I'm going to be a little bit cliche here, but authentic. Just being yourself.
%. We put on so many masks in modern life, and we're kind of given loads as well. We don't even realize we've got them on half the time.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that your work is kind of unpacking that, and to a point, mine is too, where I'm trying to show people how to launch a business and get that around their values. So the values piece is so important for living a fulfilling life, and one that's going to get you through the tough times, even when the values and the 77, even when the venues get cancelled and the 77th Brigade.
Come after you.
Yeah, we've got a couple of those, dealt with them.
Yeah. And I think it's also like, it's like a prideful moment of like, oh, you know, you're doing something right when they come after you, you know?
Absolutely. You're over the mark. Well, Alex, it's been an absolute joy to speak to you and get to know you a little bit. And I can't wait to just carry on our conversation off mic and just see where perhaps our paths might cross again, because I'm sure we've got loads in common. I think we've got a few friends in common, which is great. Always a good start. So where can people find your website, your Facebook group and your community? Where can people find you?
Yeah, Ascending Tribe is literally on most platforms, actually.
Okay.
But I don't always manage it very well. But the majority, we've got a website, www.ascendingtribe.com. We're on Instagram at Ascending Tribe. We're on Telegram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. Yeah, we're pretty much on if you just type in Ascending Tribe, I'm pretty sure all the platforms will come up. We're even on Discord. But yeah, so,
Awesome.
And then WhatsApp, we've got the WhatsApp groups, which are all free as well.
Perfect. And what can people look forward to in the next 3 to 6 months? You're hanging your hat up, I hope, for a month on this side of things. Maybe not the home business, but what can people look forward to in the next 3 to 6 months that they might be able to look at your website in a month or so's time?
Yeah, so we have launched a course, myself, Indigo and Sarah Savage. Some people here might know Sarah Savage. She's incredible, the way she talks about sovereignty and collapsing your inner matrix. And oh my gosh, she's just incredible. So the three of us have come together and launched a course. Oh my God, I can't even remember the name of it because it's literally just been launched. That's so bad.
Where can you find it?
It's the rising of the protagonist.
Okay, love it.
The course, basically. So it's and it's all around, again, releasing the layers of fear, connecting back into your purpose, understanding what sovereignty is, what that means to you, how you can step more into that frequency, and basically just taking more control over your life away from the system and conditioned programs. Obviously, we can't always control life, but having a bit more control over what we can control, I guess. So yeah, that launches in January. We've got more plant medicine retreats. The next plant medicine retreat is in March. We have more sovereign seminars. We've got a lot more courses coming up online, again, around understanding your rights, operating in the private, navigating digital ID and how to navigate all of that that's potentially coming or is here. So, and sorry, I'm trying to remember everything because there's so much going on, but there's also some products that we're launching next year as well.
Lovely.
Like some wellness products that we're launching next year.
I totally love what you're doing, Alex. And like I say, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And
thank you too.
Yeah, let's have a proper catch up another time. I'll let you go now. So it's been an absolute pleasure. You have become and have been unplugged and totally unstoppable. We wish you well. Until the next time, Alex, see you soon.
Thank you so much. Bye, Robin.